This is the Tier 10 Napoli. Heavy Cruiser. Pretty good looking ship at first glance. It's got the typical bow section and colouring of Italian ships. The upper fore-end plating is 25 and the fore-end armour belt 60. Main deck of 40mm. Upper casemate is 60. Main armour belt is 220. Extra protection here for the rudder, 60mm and 25mm upper and lower aft end plating. Take this off. See sloped armour here, both sides. And 20mm, 220 protecting, again 220. So the armour is not bad. But what makes this ship stand out is it's the first ship that fires semi-armour piercing secondaries. So how this differs, it's the first ship with semi-armour piercing secondaries and the main battery. It differs from all of the other Italian cruisers in the fact it fires high explosive and armour piercing. So your main battery doesn't get any semi-armour piercing. That's where your secondaries come in. You can see the sap damage. I bet the stream will take place in the second half of the week. There is no flies on Bob. No flies, I tell you. No flies. The A-Gear died for this. That's the Petro Armo. Are any test ships out of NDA? No, not quite yet. So, it gets 9 254mm guns, 15-second reload, 3450 HE damage, 16% fire chance, 42mm of penetration, and the AP is 6558 with a max firing range of 16 kilometers. Well, 16.3. And thank you very much, Jock, for the 7 months. Think 7 months will be lucky for a ship crate? Possibly, who knows? We don't know yet.
Will this be premium CC?
We don't know yet, Alive Passion. We don't get told until literally days before the ship is coming out of NDA. And I don't expect this one to be ready yet. So it differs majorly in the fact you don't get semi-armor piercing with your main battery. The gun caliber is bigger, and these secondaries, I mean, they're actually quite spicy. You can see the penetration, 26mm semi-armor piercing pen on the 90mm, and the majority then are 1252mm, where you get 42mm of penetration. So they're effective against battleships. So it's seemingly an attempt to get a brawling playstyle going with the Napoli. To have these, and the range is quite decent, 7.7 kilometers. 42mm HE pen, and then 26mm of pen on the 90mm, and 42mm pen on the 152mm. It gets torpedoes. The torpedoes are quite good. 13.5 kilometer range, almost 16k damage. These pack a punch. I mean, so if you're brawling, you get 2 x4, one each side.
Show me the money.
You can see here, both launchers are on the stern.
A brawling cruiser. What sort of cut price opium have the developing team been partaking of?
I'm not sure if it's cut price. They just may have taken all the opium. I think is probably what happened. They just took it all. They decided it's time to party down and just use all the opium. Self-propelled sea mines. So let me show you. Launchers here are at the stern. And they hit really hard. 16k. And I mean, 59 knots is not terrible. They are very stealthy. I've killed Shimas with these torps. It's quite hilarious. Because they've got very, very little reaction time. Got very good range. I mean, you can drop them from concealment quite easily. AA defense, you're nothing too exciting really. Can I show the Johann de Witt and the repulse armor?
If opium fever dreams are a legitimate research tool, I don't want to know what is.
Well, as a defensive purpose, I look primarily at the range and the long range damage. So what I would look at here is your continuous average damage is 349. Now that's divided, you can see the average damage by short range is 130. And the damage by long range AA is 102. While the medium is 305. So, and you can see the firing range of the medium is out to 3.5 kilometers. So the majority of your AA is out to 3.5 kilometers. And now, the reason this is not great is a torpedo attack is already in his attack run putting torps in the water before it even brushes the medium range. So if a carrier is coming in with his last attack group, he's dropping his torps in the water and literally calling his fighters back at the time they hit your mid-range AA, which is the strongest. So what I look for in strong AA is the max firing range and how much damage you can put out at long range to actually kill planes before they get their ordnance away. If you're killing planes after they're dropped, it's essentially useless. It's how many you can knock out of the sky before they get their drop off. So in this case, it's average. It's average for a tier 10 cruiser. I would say below average. In this case, the range is very poor for tier 10 as 5. So you're putting less flak in the air with less range. But that's how I kind of judge AA in general. How many planes can you knock out of the sky before they get their attack off? Killing planes after they've dropped is useless. That's only It gets you experience at the end of the game. But it doesn't prevent any kind of attack. So you're going to have trouble preventing attacks. But your concealment is really good. You get 10.3 concealment. Maneuverability is pretty good. And I must add, you get the exhaust smoke generator. So you can pull off some fancy moves in this. You can see 10.3 kilometer detection range. You have 40-second smoke screens. You can close very, very quickly to just under 8 kilometer. You can close very, very quickly to secondary range. Have semi-armor piercing secondaries that are effective. Torpedoes that are very effective, is in particular at close range. So I wouldn't class it as a ZOW, but it's one of these cruisers that I'm still playing it, I'm still testing it. I'm thinking some situations it feels quite good, other times I'm thinking, okay. So it's a curious one. Whether it stays exactly as it is remains to be seen. But a lot of people have been asking me about this. You get 4 repair parties. You don't get an option to mount anything else. You get exhaust smoke, you get the fighter, and you get 4 repair parties. That is with Superintendent. Now you can see the build here I'm using. I'm using the heavy AP skill. I'm actually using a couple of torpedo skills. Enhanced damage on the torps, because I was pleasantly surprised by how many torps I was actually landing. You can see the detectability range on the torps. 1.1. It's really, really good. I'm not using RPF, no. I'm just playing around with torpedo skills and extra damage on the AP at the moment. And being closer to the action, gun feeder, and grease the gears, very, very useful. I've been attempting to... I can't say, because it's about gameplay. But you can kind of figure out from the skills I'm using that I'm trying to be aggressive in the ship from time when possible, of course. And you can pull off some fancy maneuvers. Having these secondaries, you can imagine approaching and rushing targets in the safety of your smokescreen, being able to torp and use your secondaries from concealment. I was also asked about SAP torps and SAP rockets. Oh dear. Do we really want to go down those roads? I'd like to thank you once again all for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more. Take a moment to check out some of my most recent videos and leave a comment below. And until the next time, keep sailing it like you stole it.